Hello, this is Diane Blake again. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you my Artist Heroes book. And this is made with watercolor paper, and it was a project that I was given the idea to create through a book that I've been reading. The book is called The Creative Call by Janice Elsheimer, I think is how you would pronounce it. It's an artist's response to the way of the spirit. It's a really wonderful book, and as I was working through it, there were assignments throughout, and the assignment was on page 61, and it said, in your daybook, brainstorm a list of all the people who have in any way inspired or encouraged you to believe in yourself as an artist. And she wanted me to create a big piece of poster board and put all those names and some images on there, and I just felt too limited by doing that, so I decided to create a book instead. So one of the nice things about books like this that give you assignments is we don't have to follow it exactly. We can create based on what really works for us. So although she told me to create a poster that I could hang on the wall for inspiration, I had a lot more fun creating a book and putting more information into it than I could with something on the wall. So this is my interpretation of that assignment. First of all, it's just a one signature book, and it's made with watercolor paper, and I created this in 2012 and 2017. I started the book and didn't finish it right away. Just kind of the way I am. Sometimes I start projects and don't always finish them all together. And you may find that you create that way too. Now, what I've done here is I've cut out images. This little girl came out of a magazine, and she already had paint on her, and I added additional paint to just scrub her up a little bit more. And this is what my book has. Oh yes, there's a picture of me. See if I can get that where it's not so glary. There we go. There's a picture of me. And I just talk a little bit about inspiration comes in many forms and from many places. And my art heroes are people who have shared their lives through their art and who have taught me something valuable. And I've included some of my own art experiences as my own spirit would inspire me to. So this one's talking about spirit, so I splattered paper, and if you saw my first video, you'll notice that I love to splatter paint on things, and it's watercolor. It's probably watered down acrylic ink because I tend to do that more. And the spirit moves freely, and it cannot be contained, and it cannot be measured. It can be felt, and it can be reflected and observed by the heart. I created this book to explore what moves me in art by reflecting upon the art of those whom art moves me, and to attempt to answer why. I've included some of my own work to try to understand what the spirit within is telling me and how I can use this all as an offering of worship to my Creator. So as I go through this book, you'll see that I have certain people that I look up to, like Ansel Adams, and I didn't just talk about what it is about him, but I also talk about if I could emulate that person. So in this case, for Ansel Adams, if I could emulate anything from Ansel, it would be his patience. When I spend time with his photos, I feel the presence of God, a clarity of vision worthy of patience. And here's another one of my splattered pages. I love to doodle, and I love taking splatters and finding images in there. And if you saw my other video, I did that a lot. Another one of the artists I really enjoy is a lady by the name of Chad Alice Fox. She uses a lot of organic materials and felts and feathers and all kinds of beads and stuff, and I love her work. It's just so organic that it touches my heart. It says if I could emulate her, my art would be more organic. When I spend time with her art, I want to touch it and feel the special love she put into it, just as God puts into everything He creates. Sharon McCarthy is one of those people that I've followed. She used to be more prominent on the internet back in the day, but I've always loved her stuff. Again, very organic, tends to be very nature-oriented, and she makes handmade textile books. And if I could emulate her, my subjects would contain more nature. When I spend time with her books, I want to hold them, explore them, and I want to experience her walk in the woods and her quiet time with God and nature. All right, Shannon Green, if you're watching, you'll recognize that eye. I have always loved Shannon. She's a hoot. And she's, I've been watching her since I don't know, for a long, long time. And she's always made me laugh. She doesn't take herself too serious. And she just always seems to be able to put something special in her heart. And in her art, if I could emulate her, I would have more fun with art. And when I spend time with her art, I feel freedom to be who I am, and I want to explore and play. God wants us all to be who He created us to be. I'll put her link. In fact, I'll put links to all of these artists, or at least to some of their work in the description below. Okay, Kyla Givehan. She doesn't put much out anymore, but there was a time when she went through a series where she was creating books in a day. And I love the fact that she just showed me all kinds of different books and what to put in those books. And I don't know, she just always gave a lot of heart when she did these books. And if I could emulate her, I would have a plan for completed works. And when I spend time with her work, I feel a sense of purpose, completion, and exploration. Everything should have a purpose, even if it's just for the joy of doing it. Okay, Vincent van Gogh, the painter. Now, all the paintings I've ever seen on walls and museums and stuff, or any prints that I've seen, never do justice to this. I was very lucky to be able to go to his museum in Amsterdam on a trip once, and I was so amazed at the depth of the paint and just, I don't know, there was just something special about seeing his works of art. So if I could emulate him, I would bring more depth and intensity to my art. And when I spend time with his paintings, I feel his life force pulled from its depths on display for all to see. His worship of heart and honesty. Another artist that I really love, Georgia O'Keeffe. I would guess most people have probably loved her work. But if I could emulate her, I would be a better storyteller. And when I spend time with her paintings, I feel calm and at peace as part of my art experience. I want to get lost in the story that is the journey with God. Okay, Cece, if you're watching this, just know that I have loved watching you grow as an artist. Since when she first started, she was trying all different kinds of art, and now she's sort of landed on watercolor, and her work is beautiful. And again, her link will be down below. If I could emulate her, I would be caught doing when inspiration finds me, because that's what she does. She practices every day. She does something every day in order to just grow her art and her skills. And when I spend time with her art, I feel like I'm in her special world, being willing to travel with the spirit within. Okay, Cat Hand. I still watch her. She's doing all kinds of interesting things. She's a very colorful lady. She's got lots and lots of color in all of her stuff. And I'll see her do something, I'll think, oh my, that's a hot mess. And then she turns it into something beautiful. I don't know how she does it. I wish I could be like her. If I could emulate her, I would be bolder in my color palette. And when I spend time with her art, I am happy and I want to play. 2, art should inspire me to play and be bold. Okay, Rebecca Jones, a faith journaler. I still watch her stuff online. She likes to give tips and hints on how to journal within your Bible. I tried doing that. I'm not all that good. It just makes me too nervous, so I do something different, and I'll show those to you in another video. But I do faith journaling, but I just don't do it in my Bible. But if I could emulate her, I would be more steadfast in Bible journaling, and when I spend time with her art, I want to make art devoted to worship. Valerie Sogin, I think that's how you say her name. She pronounces it all the time when she does her videos, but she does faith art, and she does shaped journals. And I really like the fact that her pages aren't all just plain pages that are squares or rectangles or whatever. And she has tendency to flip and flop them so that as things overlay, they just create something a little different. And if I could emulate her, I would make my journals more artistic. And when I spend time with her art, I see a beauty beyond the necessary, just as God spread his beauty without sparing. Okay, Chihuly glass. Oh my gosh. I was lucky one day to be able to go down to Phoenix. I live in Arizona, and to go down to Phoenix to the botanical gardens where they did a whole art installation throughout the botanical gardens of all this beautiful hand-blown glass. If you ever get a chance to go, you just have to go and just experience it for yourself. If I could emulate this art, it would be more organic. When I spend time with the sculptures, I feel the light radiating and shining through it, and I want God's light to shine through my art too. Okay, France Papillon. I have watched her for years. I like the fact that she teaches when she does art. She creates things, but she explains why she does certain things and how she does it and what her supplies are. And I don't know, I just always felt like she was teaching and not just showing how she created something. It wasn't just a tutorial, but she was actually teaching on how to use supplies and stuff. If I could emulate her, I would be more original, and because I have it in me. When I spend time with her art, I want to know how she created it and what it means to her. Sharing one's heart brings relationship to the art, because she does share why she's doing it, and that's just fun. Okay, this is me, my art. It's a colored pencil piece. It was a doll that there was a picture on the internet on Pinterest, and I saw this beautiful doll with the red hair and a green hat and just the rosiest of cheeks, and I just had to draw her in colored pencil. I called her name was Molly. I did several faces. I was doing a face a day for a while, and it's one of my very first colored pencil with color. And I tend to do black and white, but hers, that red hair and that green hat, I just had to do that. And I said, when I spend time with this drawing, I want to know more about Molly's story. And when I spend time drawing, I get lost in the details of the moment, stroke by stroke. Yellow Melly, also known as Melissa Peacock. She's a watercolorist. I just love the fact that she would approach things differently. And she did a lot of negative space kind of watercoloring, so you never knew what she was creating. She would do the negative space first and come back and fill in. And I thought that was very interesting and just gave me a different perspective. And if I could emulate her, I'd try different processes. When I spend time with her art, I realized there are different ways to get to the same place. And God has patience with me as I make that journey. Okay, this is one of my photographs. I love close-up photography. A friend of mine gave me this little angel, and it's still on my kitchen counter today. And I just like close-ups because they narrow the focus on the details I care about. And sometimes life gets out of control because we try to include too many things, and I need to simplify and focus on what's most important. And this image has story potential. When I spend time in photography, I use my eyes to look at things in different ways. Okay, this is a book. Let me get the actual book. I'll show it to you in a moment. So this book is something I created. I like tactile things, so things that I can touch and feel texture, but I also like doing recycled things. So this book has a case. The case and the book were made out of a cookie box, and one of the cookie boxes I cut down a little bit so it would fit inside the case, and the outside of this is made with a calendar. So let me show you the actual book. Ooh, sparklies! So it's got beads, and I just love the This is a calendar. I love to get these beautiful calendars that already have art on them. Let me open this. And this book, look at him, isn't he cute? It's a wiener dog. I love that. And this is just mixed media paper. And I created 3 signatures. And I can do something with this someday. Don't know what. But even just having this book on the shelf, even if I never put anything in it, it just brings me happiness. So anyway, making books is a very tactile activity, and I use a set of skills that require math and measuring, discovering, and using different kinds of materials. And when I spend time making books, the making satisfies a need to create something with purpose and hopefully beauty. Okay, earlier I was saying I do not like to journal in my Bible, and what I do, I take paper that I don't, what do they call that paper? That 12 by 12 paper they use in stores, craft stores for never mind, I can't remember the word. But anyway, I use those and I cut them down, and then I put paint and stencils and texture and stuff over the top of them, and then I take the verses and write them down on the page. On the back of the page, I'll actually put something that's applicable to me about that verse. So I've got a bunch of these, and I'll show them to you sometime. But I haven't bound them yet. I'm not sure if I will bind them or put them just in a box, a special pretty box. That's something I need to decide. But when I faith an art journal, I try to visualize my thoughts and feelings and use fewer words, and this taps into a different part of my brain. And for some of you, you may have already seen my Secret Garden book. This was one of my very first books that I ever wrote or created, and it was an altered book. And when altering a book, my mind puzzles out the entire story and all the elements that go into creating the book to match the storyline. And there's resolution like a life, where there's a beginning and an end, and the story follows a flow between the two. Just really enjoyed making that book. And that's the end of this book. I hope this inspires you. If you liked what I created here, do a thumbs up and subscribe if you like. All the details on all of the artists that are my artist heroes will be down in the description below. Thank you.